Morris admits to what he describes as inappropriate sexual behavior with a young lady for several years in his 20s.
Young lady, I was not a young lady. I was a little girl. I was 12.
Right. And it wasn't a young lady. I mean, young lady implies of age, and that's the part that is so hard to stomach for so many people, is that, here it is. And, this person, Robert, is still trying to save face, still not owning up by issuing a statement that basically took everything that you just took the last hour of telling me, all the trauma, all the abuse, all the emotional heartache, and then summed it up as an inappropriate relationship with a young lady. I know on your side that had to be devastating to hear and say, wow, you just summed up my whole life's trauma.
Right.
With it's an inappropriate relationship with a young lady. No, I was 12 years old. It wasn't inappropriate. It wasn't a relationship because he was married.
Right.
It was so much not that. And that's the part that angers me.
He talked about this past incident. He sort of made it sound, he used the term young lady, I believe, twice in his statement. You've commented on this, but I have to ask you about it. After all that has gone on, all of the conversations you've had, in seeing that statement, what went through your head and your heart when you saw that language?
Well, the first thing is, I have a 12-year-old grandson. He is not a young man. He is barely a preteen. I mean, he wants to think he's a grown-up as a 12-year-old boy, but he is not. I have a 6-year-old granddaughter. I can't even imagine. It just rips my heart out thinking about her being in that situation. So I was not a young lady. It was a crime. I was a little girl. All I kept thinking when I heard young lady was, I want to consider myself a young lady now as a grandmother. But at 12, I was not a young lady. It was, of course, it makes me a little angry, but at the same time, it's just the whole deception of all of it. So I wasn't shocked, but I definitely did not like that term.
A very pivotal moment for me, and I think it was for the world really as well, was when my story originally came out. The next day I was interviewed by the Christian Post. And in that interview, they interviewed me, they recorded me, and they used a quote where I had described in detail what he did physically do to me. And I remember reading that and thinking, oh my goodness, everyone's going to read what he physically did to me and have a mental picture of that. And I think I'd only said that to my parents when I was 17, when I told them what had happened. And the fact that I was 12 years old and they could have a mental picture of that happening at 12 years old, I think that outraged everyone. And I think knowing that this man had been standing in the pulpit calling me a young lady, it outraged people.
And for those who may not understand, when you were a kid, 12 years old, through 16, I think, right? The abuse occurred.
Yes.
He described you as a young lady.
Right.
And you're 12 years old.
Yeah, he was being transparent while I was telling the truth to people. And his transparency was not truth.